welcome to Nest for Code, the place where code nourish. This is a live session recording for the topic variables, numbers, and data conversion in Python. Stay tuned, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like this video and comment if you found it useful.
Yeah, so welcome to our session for variables and numbers. And thanks for Nest for Code to organizing this. Yeah, so today we'll discuss about what are variables, what are numbers, how you can convert one number to other number or like one data type to other data type, or how you can take inputs from the user, what are comments, and are the comments really important or you should put comments or not, how to use comments wisely in terms of code, right? Okay, so first let's see, I'll just explain you what are variables. So guys, like in whenever you are doing coding or whenever you are writing codes, right, you need something which can store variable things. Variable, it's like which the things which vary, right? So like if I suppose, let us suppose I say a equal to 2, right, and then I write b. Okay, so I have written a equal to 2, so a would be a variable which is holding a value 2, and I can say equal to 3 also, right? So this is like a variable which can vary, it can hold any value, right? But there is always some conditions for defining a variables in any language. There are some rules which you have to follow while defining variables, and it's same, like it's vary from language to language. Something might be overlapping, yeah, but the rest of the things will be varying. So in Python, you cannot start a variable name with number. So I cannot define a variable name something like 9a equal to 5 or something like 10q equal to 6. Like this, I cannot define the variable names in Python. You will get a syntax error. Variable names cannot contain spaces. So I cannot have a variable name a space 5 equal to 5. It's not allowed. You again end up with a some syntax error. The next thing is, so yeah, so next thing is like you cannot have the very in the special characters you cannot have in variables name, so you cannot define a dollar $5 something like this. So this will again end up with a syntax error. In the variables name we can have underscore, right? So this is a special character which is allowed in the variables name in Python, so I can have underscore and this will work as expected, right? So like this we can define the variables name, so it allows a special character like this, right? So underscore is allowed, other special characters are not allowed. Yeah. So other thing is variables name cannot start with number, but they can contain number. So what it is the point. Like I cannot define a variable name 9a, but I can have a variable name a9. So it can contain numbers, but the first letter cannot be the number, right? Okay. So I hope this few things are clear to you. So guys, there is one more thing in the any programming language, which is keywords. So what are keywords? Keywords are some predefined letters or words which are used for code, right? So if you know any programming language, there are keywords like if, else, right? All these are like keywords which are predefined letters or key words which are used, which have some defined meaning for the language, right? So all these are now called keywords. So if you're using any keyword, right, you cannot have a variable name with a keyword. Like if there is any method defined or there is any functionality already defined for that letters, you cannot just have. So if let us suppose if I am, so if is a keyword in Python, so I might share a list of keywords with you in Python, but yeah, there is no need to learn that, or there will not be things like this, because once you program, you understand all these keyword things and you will remember all these keywords things. So you don't need to remember, like once you do coding, like you learn all the syntax and everything. It's not like you have to remember it. Like once you keep coding, you remember. So I cannot define a variable name like this, if equal to 2. Similarly, for or else, these are also a keyword, so you cannot use them as a variable name. Okay guys, so let's suppose, and also, right, in any programming language there is also a best practice that we should follow. So what does a best practice means, right? So we know, right, I can define variable names. Let us suppose I am defining a variable name something like this. So guys, this is a variable name. Do you think it's a good variable name? Can you read this variable name easily? Can you guys read this variable name? Is it readable? Do you think it's a good variable name, right? It's difficult to read, right? And it's a valid variable name. I can have a value which this variable is holding, right? So from Python perspective, from whatever the conditions are there, this is a variable name which is valid, right? But let us suppose if I define it like something, this. So if you see this, right, this is very easy to read because I follow some standard which is there in Python to define this variable name. And what are the standards there? So guys, like while defining a variables in Python, the standard is like you should keep them in lowercase when words are separated by underscore. So all these are in lowercase and all the words are separated by underscore. So this is a standard which we follow in case of Python. And this makes like, because there are a lot of libraries, lot of people will be contributing, right? So this help us to contribute also, to understand also. So all these things come in. So that's why we should also follow these standards, lowercase with underscore. Okay, just a quick thing maybe. So let's try to see what are the valid variables name. So guys, from valid variables name, I'm not talking from a standard perspective, but what do you think it's a valid variable name? So I'll just give you some example. Okay, so these are 6 examples. So guys, can you tell me what all are valid out of these 6? What all you think are valid out of these 6 variables? Okay guys, so in this, right, we have defined 6 things. So let's see each and every variable one by one. So this is this. So this, so follow all the conditions. It's not any keyword, right? It's caps, that's fine. It's allowed, right? It's a valid variable name. So this is valid. Two might be confusing for you if you have not seen this keyword, but yeah, this is a keyword in Python, so it's invalid. So we'll use, it's an invalid variable. The other thing is underscore, all these are underscore. So guys, we know underscores are allowed. Underscore are allowed in Python. If you want, I can execute for you guys also. So this is a valid variable name. But the point is, this doesn't look good and this doesn't make sense. But yeah, if you're attempting any quiz where you have been asked if it is a valid variable name or not, yeah, it's a valid variable name. Maybe we will not recommend this, but there is always a difference between what's allowed or what's recommended, right? And this is because it's contain all the digits and it's starting with a number, it's invalid, as we discussed, right? What is this? This is having digits but starting with letters, so this is valid. This is valid, right? Because it's starting with character and underscores, all these are allowed. And this is also valid. We have even defined a variable with this, right? Right. So this is what the case for all these case conditions. So guys, any doubts in this? Yeah, this is a keyword in Java, but this is not a keyword in Python. So how fifth is valid? Because we cannot have a variable cannot start with number, but it can contain number, right? Variable name cannot start with number, but can contain number. So first thing is not a number, rest it can have any number, so it's allowed. Yeah, underscore is allowed at first character, that's not a problem. We can have underscore at any place in variable name in Python. So there is no problem or there is no issue with that. It's allowed. Okay guys, so I hope this is clear to everyone. If you have any doubts, you can just put it in the comments. So two, because for is a keyword. So as I told you, right, keywords are also not allowed in the variables name. We cannot use a keyword. Keyword are some predefined words which are used, which have their special meanings. So all these keywords, right, I was talking about, these are predefined words having a special meaning. So we cannot use them as a variable name, because what happened, right? Interpreter would be confused. Like if you want to use a for a loop, or if you want to use it for a variable, right? This is a problem which will happen like if we try to define a variable with a keywords. So that's why, like if I try to, okay guys, so I think on this standard you understand, right? And why we follow all these standards. So things are sync up if people are contributing and there are multiple peoples, right? So things are same across the, okay. So in Python, okay, so we'll do one thing, man. So let us suppose we define a variable name say a equal to 5, and we again define a variable name say a equal to 3. No, okay. And now we will print a. So in Python, everything is a case sensitive. So what would be the output of this? What will be the output, 5 or 3? In Python, all the variables name are case sensitive. So this will mean two different variables. These are two different variables. So what would be the output of this, 5 or 3? It will print 5. Why? Because this is a separate variable and this is a separate variable. So guys, let us suppose what would happen. So let us suppose this is our memory, right? And these are our variables, right? So what would happen? It will be like small a is there and capital A is also there. These will be the two variables, and it will holding 5 value. So they will be pointing to a different values, and this will also be holding 3 value like this. So these are two different variables in Python. They are not same. Okay. Yeah. So this is a question, right? If 5 equal to a equal to 5 would be the same. Okay. So I think it will take some time to get into this. 5 equal to a equal to 5. So what's the point here? It whenever you define a variable in Python, like let us suppose if I'm defining a equal to 5, this a you understood, right? This is a variable. But what is this 5? All these are known as literals. So this 5 is a literal. What does it mean? That it is a constant value and you cannot change its meaning. It will be always 5. And you cannot change the literal meaning of this. Sorry, this is literals. Yeah. And what I wanted to say, if I say 5 equal to, can you guys do something like this? 5 equal to 4. Can we do make 5 equal to 4? Is it, would it be possible? No, right? We cannot change whatever is the meaning of 5. 5 will always be 5, right? Whatever the thing it has got from, say, math, right? 5 would be always 5. We cannot say 5 equal to 4 or 5 equal to 3, right? This is not allowed. We cannot change a literal. We can only change the variable, whatever the value variable is holding. We cannot just go and change the literal meaning of value, like for any number or anything which is there in the maths or any language. So all these are called as literals. So I hope variables and literals are clear to you guys now. Yeah. So next thing is what are the data types in Python, right? So in Python, we mainly focus on the data types. One is numbers. The other thing is a string. So we'll see about the numbers today. How can define numbers, how numbers works in Python, guys, right? So Python also, right? If we talk about numbers, yeah. So we'll mainly focus towards integer and floating point numbers. So what are integers? They are just the whole numbers. Like it can be a positive number, it can be a negative number. 5, -5, 6, -6, like this. So they are all whole numbers which lie on the number line. Yeah. So next thing we'll see today is what are the numbers, right? Okay, so before I go to number, like someone wants to understand what is literals. So guys, literal is the constant things which are already defined and you cannot change their meaning. I cannot change 5. 5 is 5. 5 will always be 5. I cannot say 5 equal to 4, right? I cannot make it 5 equal to 4. I cannot say 5 equal to 3. 5 would be always 5. Variables are something which you can change. We can change a equal to 4 or a equal to 3, right? But I cannot assign a value to Python, right? So this will not change. This will always have its own meaning which is there. So it will not get changed anytime. Yeah. Okay, guys. So we'll see how numbers and all are working. So I think we started, right? So we in Python we have integers which are we whole number, negative, positive numbers, and the floating point numbers are there in Python, and they will have a decimal point in them, right? It will be a decimal values like 2.0, 2.1, and they can also have exponential values like 4e2 or something like this, right? And in Python we don't have like long int, byte, short, anything. There's just a int which is we have in Python, and not like C or other language. We don't have long and lots of variables. So we'll see why we just have int and how it suffices. So guys, these are the different operations we can do, like all these arithmetic operators we have in Python. It's similar to your maths. So like let us suppose if you want to add two numbers, I can just say, let us suppose if I am having number a equal to 1 or b equal to 3, I can just add them using the addition operator, the sum operator, right? I can just add these numbers. And we have a function in Python, print. In print and in these brackets, I think this is the first program which people generally write, right? So in print, we can just pass, if we want to print anything, so C, so we just print C. So it's printing as the sum of these two numbers. Similarly, we can also do the difference if you want. So if I do a minus b, it will give me -2, right? 1 minus 3, it will come as -2. Similarly, we can also do the multiplication. It will multiply both the values. Yeah. The other thing is division also. So guys, whenever you divide, it will give you also the decimal values, because this is how it works. So it will be 1 by 3, right? So what is it? It's 1 by 3. So 1 by 3 will come as 0.333. Maybe if this is like, if we just change this to say 4 or we make it 2, so it will become 4 by 2. So the value will come as 2. So this is how the division operator will work. So there is one more thing which is a floor quotient and the remainder. So guys, if you remember the normal maths which you used to do in initial classes, maybe like third or fourth standard, right? We used to get a remainder or we were used to get the quotient, right? So what you were used to do, like let us suppose if I am doing 8 by, so let us suppose if a is 5, b equal to 2, what will be the quotient here? What will be the quotient here? 2. And what will be the remainder if I divide this? It will come as 1, right? So this is the thing that will come. So, but if you see this normal division operator, what it's giving you, if I say 5 or 2, it will give me the decimal value, right? So what it will give me? 2.5, right? It gives the value along with the decimal thing. But yeah, if you want it like for quotient and row separately, we have this double slash operator. So what I can do, I can just say equal to 5, b equal to 2, and I can have say quotient, which is a by b. We can use double slash, and there is a remainder operator also, which is percent operator, which is there in Python. And so we can do a percent b for this, and we can also print these values to see if they are correct. Right? So we can see these values are coming correct. So like this, we can also do all these things. And similarly, guys, we can use all these operator with float also. So the difference between one backslash and double backslash is this single, it will do the complete division and it will give you the output as a with decimal values also. It will not give you the just quotient part, right? And with double slash, you will just get the quotient. So like if you divide 5 by 2, the quotient will be 2, right? Because with 2 only you are being able to divide it properly, right? But here it will give you along with the decimal values. I think in classes in school you were used to earlier use this thing, and later on all these things also came in, right? Once you get the things like decimal and all in the classes. So I hope this is clear to everyone, right? Yeah. So I think to modify all these decimal values, or like to show the decimal values to a point, we have some functions in case of print, also precisions and all these things. So that we will understood maybe later on. Okay, similarly, we can do all these operations on floats also, like decimal values. So let us suppose if I have a decimal value 2.5, I have a decimal value 3.5, right? And I want to add them, right? And I can print these values. It's coming as 6.0 because both were a float values. Similarly, we can do subtraction also. So operator would always like work in a similar way in case of all these decimal values also. Similarly, we can do multiplications also, and we can apply division operator also like this. All the operators would work in similar way. Do you think this remainder operator will work? You're getting 2.5 because what would happen? You cannot have it completely from this, so it will coming as 2.5. If we do double slash, it will coming as 0, right? Okay, guys. So next thing is okay. So I hope you have understood this. Okay, guys. So I think bitwise operator we'll see later on, or what we can do. So have you guys heard of complex numbers? So if like maybe if you, this complex numbers they came in, I think 11th or 12th standard, right? So we have complex numbers also in Python. So complex number they generally have a iota part in them. So it's not iota. There will be a real part and there will be an imaginary part. It's fine. Like if you don't understand the complex number, like if you really go to use them, then only you need to understand. Otherwise, fine. Yeah. So in Python we define all this complex number with j. So the real part and then the j and then the imaginary part like this. Okay. So yeah, so you have to put the number imaginary part first and then j like this. And the other thing is similarly I can define the more complex numbers also. Variable name you can keep anything. And once you add the complex number, what it do? It add the real part with the real part and the imaginary part with the imaginary part. So this is how we can work with the complex number. Yeah, guys. So maybe I'll just explain you. So what happened, right? Whenever we define a complex number are something like this. They will have one, say, and then we are defining, they have iota also. It's a special variable. It's not actually I, right? So this is how we can define complex numbers, and they will hold some value. And this is all. This is called as real part. This is a real part in complex number, and this is an imaginary part. So like if you have gone through this in the math, then only you will understood, but that's fine. And when we add complex number, the real part will get added with real part, and the imaginary part will get added with the imaginary part. Similarly, the operation will come with, say, subtraction and all these things. Okay, so I think this is clear. Yeah, guys. So similarly, you can do the operations for the complex numbers also. Okay. Yeah. So next thing is like everything is object in case of Python. Let us suppose if I'm defining all this also, these are also objects. Yeah, and one thing, right, in complex number, when we talk about maths, we have this not I, this is iota. But in case of Python, if you want to represent this, they have given us j for this. So this is the way we are representing the same thing in Python. But in terms of math, it will have the same meaning. But in Python, we have to use j to define it. I hope this is clear. So guys, let us suppose I just wanted to introduce a concept that everything is objects in case of Python, like whatever you declare, whatever you define, it comes as a objects in Python. So let us suppose if I'm saying a equal to 2, b equal to 3, c equal to a plus b. So guys, do you think all these are objects? A, B, C? Do they look like objects? A, B, C, right? Do you think all these are objects? No, right? They doesn't look like objects. All these are some variables. So guys, in Python, right, whenever we define int and all also, they are also objects. And what's the case is, so when we talk about OOPs or objects, it's not just restricted to creating your classes. It's also creating the objects of the classes, right? So it's an object of int class. It's an object of int class. It's an object of int class. So all these are objects of int class. It's internally taken care. So guys, if I say, so Python, we have a method type. Using type, we can get the type of any variable. So if I just say type A, it's coming as a int, right? So you can get the type of any variable using type variable. Okay. So next things we want to discuss today is comment in Python. So why we use comments, right? To make our code more readable and maintainable, right? And comments does not execute. So let us suppose if I'm writing, so we define comments using hash in Python. So let us suppose if I have defined hash print and then I have put any value. Let us suppose hi. So what would be the output of this program? What will the output of this program? What will it do? Because it's a comment, it will not do anything, because it can be any code, but it will not be executed because this line is starting with hash. So I'm executing this, it's not printing anything, nothing, because it's a comment. Okay guys, and for multi-line we can add using with each line we can just add hash. The other thing is it will not print because it's starting with hash, and comments are not executed. It will not even print empty string. It will not print hi, nothing will happen. The line will not executed. Whenever interpreter will come here, it see a hash, it will just ignore that line. Whatever you want, you can return here. Something, anything you write here, it will not print anything. Nothing will happen. If I'm executing this, it will not doing anything, right? We can do multi-line comments using triple quotes also in Python. So this is multi-line comment. So we know using hash, we can write a comment for one line, or you can put multiple line with hash. The other thing is like if you want a multi-line comments, we can use triple hash. Yes, this sorry, not triple hash, triple quotes. And here you can the multiple line comment. So guys, one thing you like write this like this, it will print. The other thing is right, maybe I discuss in last session also, indentation is very important in case of Python. So I will just explain you what does indentation mean. So let us suppose I'm defining a variable a equal to 3 and b equal to 5, right? And if you see here, I just put an extra space here, let us suppose. So can you see this space, right? We have added an extra space here. So if you see this extra space, this is not allowed in case of Python. What would happen? We'll get an indentation error. So what does indentation mean? Your code should be properly spaced. Like if these both lines are in the same alignment, there should not be any extra space. It should be like this. There should not be any extra space for these variables, right? So these are, so okay guys, so it's not actually printing the things. We have not used any print method here, right? This is just because of Jupyter Notebook you are seeing this here. This is just because we have executed in Jupyter Notebook, you are seeing this output. But ideally I'm not printing anything here, right? I have not used any print method here. This is just happening because of Jupyter Notebook internal implementation. It's not related to printing something. I have not used any print method here. Okay guys, so other thing is like how to take input from a user, we have an input method in case of Python. So we can just take any input, maybe say now, so let us suppose if I'm writing say calculator program, right? So we can just take say number 1, user will enter number 1 a, or we can have a variable say number, or we will input number 2, right? So now we are trying to write a program which will do all this calculation. It will take 2 numbers as an input and it will print their sum, multiplication, division, right? Okay, so the thing is, okay guys, so these are 2 numbers and we want, what we want to do, we want to calculate their sum, right? Sum value equal to num1 plus num2. Oh, it's starting executed. Let's complete our program. So we know, right, multiplication value would be num1 into num2. Division value would be num1 by num2. And similarly, subtraction value would be num1 minus num2. So we are writing a program which is taking 2 inputs from the user and it's doing all these arithmetic operations, like we are writing some basic kind of a calculator, right? Okay, guys. So let's start with, and we know, right, we can print them. So guys, one more thing I wanted to explain you, like if you want to print a variable and also a string, what you can do, you can simply like, this is a, after this you can just put a comma and then you can put the variable. I think because the last cell is not executed, we'll just stop this cell and we'll just see this. Just ignore this errors, man. Don't, this is a, right? So like this we can print. So we'll use this similar print statement for our program. So we'll say this is sum and we'll print sum value. So these are variables name. So guys, in place of ABC, like if you define like this, it's good. Similarly, we can say this is sum and this is multiplication. This is division. And this is subtraction. We'll just go and get this value. And we have used for, okay, cool guys. Let's see, right? Okay, so I think we are good here. We just put space here also, so like we are good. Now execute. Let us suppose I'm giving 12 as first number and 3 as second number. Okay, we got some error. Can't multiply the sequence of non and int of type string. Okay, so let's suppose, we just put a multiplication on comment and then execute this program. Again, something failed, man, for division. Okay, so let's for now we put a division also and comment and then see. Now sub value also failed. So what's happening here, right? Okay, so what we'll do, okay, let's comment sub also, like we'll just go with sum. Okay, let's see. We got 123. 12 plus 3, 123. So what's the issue here is, so guys, whenever you read any input from the user, all these comes as a string form. If you see here, 12 plus 3 should be 5, but it has done some string or operation. Strings, like it's just a set of sequence of characters. So what we are doing, it's doing some concatenation of a string. So what we need to do, all the inputs that you read in a program in Python, they all will come as a strings. So we have a method which convert them to integer. So to convert any number or anything from a data type, we can use int method. Like if you want to convert anything from one data type to other type, we can use this int method to convert anything to an integer. Okay, so we'll use int here. So now all the numbers will come as a string and they will convert it as an integer and they will store in this variable. So I think now our all other operations will also work. So let us suppose we are doing 12, 3. Now everything worked, right? Because what was the issue for all the last cases was all the input was coming as a string and we have not converted to them an integer, and that's why it was failing. But now because we have converted to an integer, it's working fine. So this is our first program that we have done today, which is a basic calculation. Okay guys, so I hope you have understood this. So guys, any doubts in this program, you can add in comments. Let us suppose for the same program, in place of integer, if we want to write this program say for decimal values, so you can use float method also to convert to input string to a float, and this will convert, right? All these things are coming as a float value. So if you have any doubt, just add in. Okay, guys, so one thing, like I think you guys understood, right, what are comments, and comments, they are good, right, because it make code readable, more maintainable. Okay, let's see something around the comments. Yeah, so yeah, okay, comments you want to see. Let us suppose I'm writing a program, and let's use comment, because I think normally you guys don't use comments. But let's see how the comments work. Like, let us suppose I define a variable, say a equal to 3 and b equal to 5. So I will say it is a number. It is number. It is a number. So I have added comment for this, and I have added another comment for the other number. It is a number, and I'm saying sum. Okay, C. I will just say a plus b. So this is one program. Okay, let us suppose I'm writing one more program. This is another way I can write the same program. Okay, this and this will be num1 plus num2, right? Because we have defined a variable as num1, num2. Okay. So guys, which program do you think is better out of these two? This is a first program, and this is a second program. So which program do you think is better? Just add in the comments. Right? This is the first program. In case of first program, for each line I added a comment to explain it. In this case, maybe I have used the variable names properly, but I have not added a comment. So which one do you think is good? The first one, which is having lots of comments, or the second one without any comments? Guys, if I talk about this code and this code, right? The thing is, right, it's, yeah, we have a lot of comments, but we should use comments wisely. We should only use comments when it's required. We should not just add a comment for each line. So guys, all these comments, right, for each line of code, these are used by the developers. They are not being used by the user, right? So the person who will also see this code will also be a developer, Python developer, and they can understand things, right? So if you have a proper variable names, this is clear from this variable name that this is a number. This is clear from this variable name, this is a number. This is clear from this variable name that it's going to hold the sum of these two numbers. So I don't need to add the comments if I can get the same thing done with the variable names. Yeah, I will say that you have to add the comments if you want to document any API, if you want to document any code, or if it's a complex logic. But you don't need to add the comment for each and every line or for each and every variable. You should always define your variables properly. You should always give your variables a good name. Don't use ABCD to Z and then starting with ABC like this. Give a variable's name a proper name. Give them a good name so that you can understand your program later on. Also, you can understand the code, and the other developers, other user can also understand the code. So to be honest, all these ABCD and XYZ, they are not used in companies, they are not used in industries. Nobody will allow you to write code like this. You have to use your variables name properly like this. Nobody will prefer this code even you add comments. You cannot add a comment for each line of code. I hope all of you have understood this thing. So if you have any doubts, you can just add it. I think we have covered good number of topics so far. I will just explain you one more thing. In Python, we support multiple assignments in same line. So in other language, what you can do A equal to B, A equal to B equal to 5. So both the variables, what will happen? Both will hold the same value, which is 5. And if you print A, it will be 5. If you print B, it will also be 5. But let us suppose if I want to assign variables with different values in the same line, what I can do A comma B equal to 3 comma 4. This is allowed in case of Python. can assign values to multiple variables in a single line. And then I can print A, it will come as 3. I can do print B, it will come as 4. Okay, guys. I hope this is very important concept. It reduce the line of code for you. And let us suppose I want to do something like this. If I say A equal to 3 and I say B equal to A, and then I say B equal to say 5, and I will print A. So what will be the output of this program? It will be 3 or it will be 5? 3 or 5? So guys, like if I explain you this part, right? So whenever, like, let us suppose if I'm define a variable, which what's the value is 5. A is pointing to this variable, right? This is the first line. In the first line, this will happen. When I say A equal to B, what will happen? B will also be pointing to this same variable. In the next line, what we did? We said B equal to, sorry, we have started with 3. Okay, so fine. Like, let's do it again. We started with 3, not 5. Yeah. So we started with A equal to 3. So A will hold 3. Then we make B equal to A. So B will also hold 3. Now what we did? We say B equal to 5. So what will happen? A new variable, a new value is there, which is 5, right? And this link will be crossed from here, and B will start pointing to the new variable, which is 5. But A will be still pointing to the old variable, which is 3. So if you print A, it will come as 3. If you print B, it will come as 5. Right? It's not pointing to the same memory location, or it's not like a reference thing. So I hope this is clear to you guys. Yeah. If you have any doubts, you can ask. And guys, I will also share a few important links with you.